Yo, what is up? What's going on, Hard Pass fam? We got
Ba-
we got Rim Breezy back in the house,
Back in the building, boy.
back in the building. We're gonna click off here. We're gonna bring Nick Stevenson in here. What's going on, Nick? How you doing, brother? Can you hear us? We can't hear you on the mic. You might have to get your mic set up on it. So while he's working on that, so kind of today we're gonna kind of break down. We're gonna kind of break down. The week one of college football. Of course, the first week college football is no NFL, so you get to watch a lot of football, a lot of college football, and it just happened to be a lot of bad football. But so we had, we're in this live pod, we're gonna kind of break down all of week one of college football. We're also gonna end it with giving our picks for week one of the NFL season. And whenever Nick can get his stuff going on here, we'll kind of get that going. But how you doing today, Remy?
Dude, doing good. Loving that long weekend, feeling refreshed, ready to go, dude. And a short week this week. It's beautiful. And the NFL is back. I know we're talking college football, but the NFL is back, baby. I'm so excited.
Yep, it's a great time to be alive. I mean, it literally is. It's the best. I mean, you have college, you got baseball, you got football, you got all kind of shit going on. So, shout out to everybody watching here live on our Facebook page, also on our YouTube channel. I tried to set up Periscope. I'm not sure if that's working quite yet. On Twitter, we'll see. We'll check in on that. But shout out to all you guys for tuning in. And anything, get your questions in on the chat, and we'll definitely pop them up on stream, and we'll kind of we'll get to them along as we go. So we kind of we're kind of getting the hang of this live thing. This is our second live. The first one went pretty well, and then we had the podcast we recorded with our league. Shout out to those guys. That was a lot of fun.
That was a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun getting a kind of a different perspective, on sports. Like you said, across the pond, those guys love the NFL and stuff. That's for sure. You could tell they really watch it and they really keep up with it and that kind of stuff. So shout out to those guys. I think I might have surprised them with my soccer knowledge a little bit.
Threw them for a loop. You had me at a loss for words.
Yeah, literally a loss for words. You just sat back and kicked back and enjoyed it.
Easiest part of the day for me.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see here. We're gonna start with we start with some college. Let's see if Nick's got his thing set up here. We're gonna bring him in. What's going on,
Nick? All right, guys, you hear me now?
There it is.
What's going on, brother?
All right. Not too bad, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing pretty good, man. How about yourself? So we'll give Nick. This is my buddy Nick. Known him back in Carolina days. You want to give a plug to what you got going on over there in Charleston? And I think we might have lost him again. We'll try to. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're trying to work this out here. So Remy, if you'll pop up the college scoreboard, we're gonna start with that.
Oh, I'm one step ahead of you, bud.
And technically, there was a week before this, but we're not. That doesn't count. I mean, it was a
week zero.
Week zero. So dumb. I will start with Thursday, and we had Ohio State at Minnesota. This was kind of it was a tight game for a while until Minnesota's running back Muhammad Ibrahim, he popped his Achilles. You could clearly see it on camera. It was like it was
tough, dude.
It was tough.
They did that thing where like maybe it's just a cramp. I'm like, nah, man. I just watched that man's leg explode in 4K, perfect clarity vision. That thing's gone.
Yeah, caught in 4K. So it was rough. I mean, what's going on? Let's see here. We got some stuff going on here. Matt Ritter in the house. If Fairwarn didn't pick against the running backs, going to be an upset. Calling it now. Shout out. Appreciate you hopping in and checking us out. Dad coming in the building. Is Miami that bad or is Alabama that good or both?
Both.
We'll kind of get to that game when we go on down the list. I mean, Alabama's a wagon, and that's for sure. But kind of going back, let's see if we can get Nick back in here, see if his thing's going on. Nick, you got it working?
Yeah, I think we're good now. You hear me, guys?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we
go.
go.
Your pictures looking good.
All right, word.
All right, man. So yeah, shout out Nick for hopping in here. Big college football fan, of course. He's a Florida State fan. We'll kind of break down that game kind of in the middle of this in this live stream. But you want to give a shout out what you got going on over there in Charleston?
Yeah, man, definitely. First of all, introduce everybody. My name's Nick. Nappy Nick is my on-air persona. I am the owner and creator of the Holy City Hot podcast. It's a Charleston-based podcast for anything relative to the city. Originally, it was a food and beverage podcast, and I've been getting into entertainment, musicians, artists, business owners, and I got my first award this past year for best local podcast by the Charleston City.
Big
so
time.
shout out for that, man.
Hell yeah, man! I'm proud of you, bro. I've been keeping up with you. Your stuff's pretty cool. It's definitely fun to tune in and listen to. That's for sure.
Definitely appreciate it, man. I love what you guys got going on, man. This is definitely dope.
Yeah, we've been, it's been a slow process, and we had it going on really good there for a minute when we were living together, and we could just kind of like, all right, you ready to go do this? And we'll go record. But now that I live in Arizona, there's a 3-hour time gap and trying to make sure everything works out. But we're kind of trying to go the YouTube route, trying to do more YouTube stuff and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so Nick, I don't know if while you were setting your stuff up, so we're going to break down week 1 of college football.
Okay.
Kind of get your opinions on some stuff, get Remy's opinions. And then, so I didn't tell you this when we were talking, you're going to be our week 1. So last year we had a special guest on every week to do our NFL pick'ems. And if you won, was going to send whoever won a $20 gift card to, Amazon or whatever. Me and Remy didn't lose. So you're going to be our special guest. We're going to do our live NFL pick'ems at the end of the pod. So we're going to go through the week 1 schedule of the NFL and then write them all down and stuff, and we'll see how that shakes out. So, I hate to throw you in the fire like that, but
man, I love the heat.
Good luck.
Well, good luck. I mean, ain't nobody beat us yet. So my dad said, "Congratulations, Dick." There you go. We got what's on your head there, Remy? You got a little. He's trying to hide the bald.
What?
He's trying to hide the ball. Don't play.
Nah, dude.
All right. So like we were saying, we're kind of breaking down the Ohio State Minnesota game, and I mean, it was a tough game. Nick, what do you think? You think Ohio State's legit?
I mean, I think you can't deny them personally for recent success. Look, I mean, it's gonna be a change of pace coming with a new quarterback, a lot of new players coming in. And, it was on the road. I think a lot of people, the first game on Thursday night, got that in account. And Minnesota wasn't no scrubs, man. Their running back was definitely elite. Unfortunately, he got hurt. He's out for the season now. But, I was thinking, I took the gap. No, I'm a betting man. So I thought they were going to come by 10. And, they exceeded the gap. So I'm not too surprised. They pulled away late, making plays on defense as needed.
Yeah, it was a tough game for the majority of it. And they were losing at halftime. The quarterback is a very talented guy, young guy. You kind of saw he kind of got in a rhythm, and he they only completed 13 passes, but had 294 yards. So a lot of explosive plays, 4 touchdowns. I think when their running back went down, it looked like he tore his Achilles. That really hurt Minnesota in that one. So going forward, I think Minnesota's a good football team. They're a well-coached team. We'll see how they end up shaking out. Ohio State is one of the top 4 teams in the country for sure.
Without question.
Yeah. And we go down. The Citadel got their ass kicked by Coastal. Not a surprise in that one. Coastal's pretty good. It's the Citadel. Hey, the Citadels once beat our Gamecocks. So
let's not bring that up.
Well,
we could just move past that.
Like it never Alabama to at least the halftime tied up, but they might have been leading. I can't remember the game. It was like a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. And they're like, Dude, no, it was a really close. It was really close. It was a half, and Nick Saban was pissed and was like, cussed his team out at halftime. So
Yeah.
it's pretty hilarious. We got Utah beating Weber State 40-17. Not too much in that one. Of course, a lot of these games are hilariously bad because the first week one opponents are always pretty bad.
Yeah.
Arizona State, by the way, Arizona State's ranked. You can go to the football game for $8.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, not a big following out here in Arizona. So I was like, dude, should I just go to the game? I can probably sit wherever I want.
You can't even go to McDonald's anymore for $8.
$8,
Yeah.
right?
Jesus Christ.
I had another good game on Thursday night was UCF Boise State. This game was pretty fun. Really tight affair. Kind of went back and forth. And who's the coach for UCF? First game, he used to coach Auburn. Was it Malzahn or whatever?
Malzahn. That's Malzahn.
Yeah, it was his first game. So it was a pretty cool, it was pretty cool game to watch there. Let's see what else we got. Anything else on Thursday night of note? Tennessee beat Bowling Green. They didn't look I mean, they beat them big time, but they didn't even look that good by doing it.
Kind of hard to judge like that, man.
Right.
Like, this was low level schools.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Let's see here. Caleb said whole coaching staff's getting fired, so I don't know who you're talking about there, but so we go down to Friday, and we had the big North Carolina Virginia Tech game. Fans in the stands. It was packed. It was jumping. Remy, what is your opinion on North Carolina?
I mean, I think their own head coach, Mac Brown, said it best. They are overrated. They were overrated coming into the game. They should not have been a top 10 team in the country. I expected more out of Howell. I expected the quarterback to at least play well. He did not. The team as a whole did not play well. Just an ugly game, man. That's one of those ones, first week of the season, you want to come out. I didn't have high expectations for Virginia Tech, but, their defense was flying all over the place, causing havoc for that poor quarterback, dude. Howell was just under duress, but I expected more from them. I don't think they were top 10 team, but to come out and lose to Virginia Tech, that's a pretty tough way to start the season off.
Yeah, Matt Ritter says that QB is big time overrated. He was in kind of on one of the runnings for the Heisman. Not a good start for him.
Yeah,
we'll
one
let
touchdown,
Nick kind of talk
3
a little bit
picks.
about his ACC Athletically Challenged Conference for a second.
Well, fun fact about Sam Howell, he was actually a Florida State commit for a very long time until Mac Brown got the job at UNC and scooped him out of Charlotte at the last second, right before signing day. Fun fact. Along with that game, though, look, I was kind of actually I chose Virginia Tech personally to win this game.
Right.
They're thinking that North Carolina was overrated, and I think they underestimated what they lost last year. Like, that team was really good last year. And you know how these preseason rankings are always like, okay, you're good last year, got to rank you high this year.
Right.
Trying to project and stuff. And look, man, the offensive line, I think offensive line is going to be key to who's going to be good this year in college football, because apparently we're going to see in a couple of games we're going to talk about down the road. Like, if the quarterback can't sit in the pocket, I don't care how good you are, you're going to be forced in making unforced errors or forced errors constantly.
Yeah. They lost their running backs and stuff, so that was a big part of it. And Virginia Tech's crowd was hot.
Dude, that's what I was about to say. It felt so good. I mean, I know when we were younger, Virginia Tech was no slouch during Frank Beamer's time there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something about those games at Virginia Tech, dude. That crowd used to always be absolutely insane. And you felt that for the first time in a while in this game. It was absolutely electric atmosphere, especially there at the end of the game when Virginia Tech had to make those defensive stops. That crowd was going insane.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was like football's back. You finally watch it and the Sandman and stuff. So it was like football is definitely back. We have not a great game for another ACC team. Duke lost to Charlotte. Hilarious.
First Power 5 win for Charlotte.
Hey,
for Charlotte.
Oof.
Man, that was a good game if we're just looking for football, just from the football.
Yeah, from a football standpoint, yeah.
But
if you're wanting to watch two bad teams just struggle it out. It was a good game.
We had I got to throw this game in here. Kansas beat South Dakota on the last fourth quarter drive, 17-14. Shout out Kansas. They stormed the field. They beat a FCS team and they stormed the field. That was hilarious.
Man, they don't get this very often. Once a decade they get one of these?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is their
Win.
one.
So
This is their one.
before we move on, Kirsten, yes, this is the guy from Holy City High podcast.
That's me.
That's him. That's Nick.
There you go, right there. Sorry, I missed it in the chat. So then we go down to Michigan State, Northwestern. I think Northwestern. I thought they were going to be better, but they didn't look too hot in this game. Michigan State. I don't think it's a great football team either. But who knows with the Big Ten? They're kind of up and down.
Classic Big Ten style game for Michigan State. Just turn around, hand the ball off, starting running back. House called the first play of the game. 4 touchdowns, 264 rushing yards. That's Big Ten football through and through.
There you go.
38-21 win.
We'll slide down and we'll talk. We'll start with, of course, Alabama. I mean, why is Miami scheduling Alabama?
Mistakes.
I don't know. Mistakes were made.
Definitely made. I don't know, man. Like, dude, if I was just literally having this conversation earlier today, and for the last, I guess, 10, 15 years with Miami, they have been the most disappointing team of any blue blood program, maybe other than Nebraska, that I've ever seen. Like, it's they've been in the ACC for almost going on 18 years. They have one conference championship appearance, and that's it.
Yeah, they came in ranked 14th, and I'm like, I was like, okay. I think don't get me wrong. I think Miami is a top 25 team this year because they have a 25-year-old quarterback who's played football for half a decade. I think they have some talent, but bro, you set yourself up for failure whenever you agree to play Alabama. Alabama is, I mean, they lose all. Alabama loses all this talent. It don't matter.
It doesn't, dude. They just recycle.
Yeah. They just roll the new ones in. I was watching the highlights the day after, and it didn't dawn on me until the next day. But someone said, "You know who their secondary coach is at Miami, right?" I said, "No, it's T-Rob."
T-Rob.
I said, "No, that makes sense. Why all the wide receivers are wide open on almost every single
wide
play.
Open.
It makes so much sense now."
There was a point in the game where they were losing by 20 something, and they got a turnover. And it was the saddest turnover chain moment I've ever seen in my life. They put the turnover chain over the dude's head, and he was looking sad, like he didn't even want it. And then they overturned the turnover, and they took the turnover chain off the dude's head, and they showed him put it back in its case, like they were laying it to rest.
Yeah,
it was.
I mean, dude, I get stuff like that, but there's a time and place, man. You shouldn't be busting the turnover chain out when you're down 3 touchdowns.
Right.
It's just not a good look.
So we'll kind of go around here. We'll go over that question. So my dad said, is Alabama that good or is Miami that bad? We'll start with you, Nick. What's your answer to that question?
Man, I'll say, guys, it's almost like a 50-50 question. I don't think Miami's that bad, so I have to say with Alabama's that good. Like you said earlier, man, they just recycle talent. I mean, you're getting 6, 7, 5-star recruits every recruiting cycle. So, their practices are probably tougher than the games, quite honestly.
I mean, yes,
it's true.
They're playing more talent in practice than they are every Saturday.
That's true. I didn't think about it like that.
Stuff like that. So, it's Alabama versus everyone else at this point. It's looking like, at least.
Yeah. So, Remy, what do you think?
I saw one of the funniest tweets. It said Alabama shouldn't be allowed to play with shoes on. And it just made me laugh. I mean, yes, I'm kind of on the same page with you. I think Miami is a ranked football team. I do think that they are one of the 25 best teams in the country. But, I mean, this just cemented that Alabama is the best team. And it's not – you keep waiting for that gap to get shortened, but it's really I don't think you can say it has. Bryce Young comes in his first, big-time game. 344 yards, 4 touchdowns, didn't miss a beat. That Alabama train is just going to keep rolling. I mean, I honestly think for college football's sake, I would love to see that gap shorten some. but with what I think overall was a pretty bad week one for college football, especially with some of these ranked teams and how they played. I think it was something college football needed, was a team to just come out and say, look, we're number one for a reason.
Right.
We're top dog. Like, you're going to have to come through us.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, Alabama is the cream of the crop, and it's kind of like, we kind of talked a little bit about it in our past few pods. This shit's so boring, bro. People showing up to watch them lose, not the root. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And people are like, bro, Miami, just give us a game, bro. Just give us a game, man.
I mean, the line was 19.5. I mean, and that's for two ranked teams. Almost.
Two ranked teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's
they
insane.
still covered.
Be careful what you wish for there, Caleb. I see that comment, that Bill O'Brien magic. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Ask the Houston Texans what that Bill O'Brien magic does.
I see some Carolina questions. We're going to get to y'all in a second. We're going to continue to go down here in the slate. So we had the whole thing. So we had Tulane was supposed to play a home game against Oklahoma. Shout out to all the people that are dealing with the whole hurricane and stuff. It's terrible. Even all the way up in the Northeast, all the flooding in NY and everything up there. Shout out to everybody up there dealing with that. But so they had to move the game, and they moved it to Oklahoma. Oklahoma jumped out to a giant lead and then only scored 3 points in the second half. And literally Tulane was a foot away from converting a 4th and 11 to going in to try to score. And Oklahoma is like, how? All right, fool me once, whatever. Every year it's the same shit with Oklahoma. They're going to lose a game they have no business losing because their defense is just not that good. They come in always hyped up. But I don't know. Eventually we're going to start cheering for them, I guess, because they're about to be in the SEC.
We talked about it. That's why I questioned that move. You don't get a whole lot of Tulanes when you start playing that SEC schedule. So it'll be interesting. But that was bad, dude. Like you said, they had that big lead, and then all of a sudden they just started dwindling it. It's Tulane, dude. That should have been a blowout from the opening kickoff to the end of the game. Tulane fought hard, though. I mean, they, like you said, they get that first down. Who knows what happens? But that's a bad showing for the number 2 team in the country.
Nick, how do you think Oklahoma is going to do in the SEC?
Man, that's an interesting question. I mean, it's kind of, I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be like in the college playoff year in, year out, because you're not going to have these Tulanes anymore. Those Tulanes are going to become Arkansas or Mississippi State or Tennessee or something, and every game you're going to have to bring it, because they showed up to one of those schools, they would have lost this game definitely, and probably by more than 1 or 2 scores.
Right.
I think they'll become probably like a 9-win team. Maybe have a season every now and then where they get 11 and 12.
Yeah. I kind of think they're going to be like Georgia. We're like, they're like the Georgia of the West, where every year, because Georgia has the talent to be as good, but they'll just end up losing 2 games somewhere down the line. And every now and then they'll put together a team that can make a run at the Final Four or whatever. But I don't know. I think they kind of remind me of what Georgia's probably is. What do you think about that, Remy?
No, I think that's spot on. Just when you play in the Big 12, you're going to have some weeks where you don't have to bring your A game. You can coast by. You're going to beat some pretty bad teams without having to play your best football. And clearly this isn't even a conference game. They played Tulane. SEC is not going to be like that. There's going to be games like exactly what Nick was saying. You come in against even a lower end team like a Mississippi State, an Arkansas, something like that, and you play like this, you're not winning that game. You're going to come out of there with an L, and especially in today's college football, 2 L's and you're done. You're not making the college football playoff. So
right.
It's they better enjoy it while they still have this Big 12 they can run rampant over, but. It's going to be interesting. A defense like that, you give up 35 to Tulane, you're talking about that defense is going to have to be vastly improved before they get into the SEC, because they'll just get run over.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see. I think this year they're clearly going to be one of the the favorites for the top four.
And it's week one. You know, like, yeah, I'm sitting here talking all this trash. It's week one.
Stoops!
They can turn it around and end up having a good year. Another bad showing, though, for one of those Heisman favorites. Rattler didn't have a great game. You know, he had one passing touchdown, one rushing touchdown, but he threw 2 picks. So, no one really, none of the Howell or any of them picked up running with it.
So we're going to go over down to what was the start of I'm thinking, all right, dude, it's Saturday. It's about to have a good ass day. We're going to start with Penn State at Wisconsin, which, by the way, comes on at like 10 a.m. for me. 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. for me.
Good Lord.
So I'm rolling out of bed. I might as well just stayed in bed because this game was a snoozer. And I will say in the fourth quarter, it did pick up a little bit. Wisconsin Stadium was popping. They did the jump around. That was good to see. But, you know, Wisconsin coming the year ranked 12th. Everybody was hype on Graham Mertz. Penn State, big time road win for them going into Wisconsin week 1. Another dad, he likes Wisconsin. He watches all of them. I was like, man, this is just such a snoozer of a football game. It was so weird because the game was 0-0 at halftime.
That's rough.
Like, that's rough, bro.
That's rough.
This is 19 Penn State versus 12 Wisconsin, and they could never get in a rhythm. And if one team would get in the red zone, they turn it over. It was just super weird game. All that said and done, Penn State ended up winning this one 16-10. I guess big win for Penn State. I don't know, dude. The Big Ten is so up and down. It's crazy.
This felt like an early morning Big Ten game. Like you wake up, like it's especially for you, Terry, 9 o'clock in the morning. But you get these noon kickoffs. It's defense and running the ball and 16-10 final. It's like, what year are we in?
Right.
Ugly football game.
Every year for the Big Ten. So
I mean, honestly, yes, every year for the Big Ten.
I don't think. I mean, it's tough to take anything from this game because both these teams didn't play good.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the stats of it. It's actually kind of mind-boggling that, like, Wisconsin had the time possession of 42 minutes compared to Penn State's 17 minutes, outgained them in passing and rushing. And the key to the game, honestly, was just the turnovers, 3 turnovers to 0, and bam, got your score 16-10. So it's really like, all right, Penn State won, but like I don't consider you a threat for the division title, at least not the Ohio State, at least.
Yeah. So they had the quarterback thing, like Rob said there. He's like a 5th-year senior. They're like, no, we're gonna go with the 5-star kid, the highest ranked quarterback in Wisconsin history. We're gonna let him walk. And you saw what he did for Notre Dame week 1. It's tough.
Yeah.
But you know who could probably use old Chaz Melisui? It's probably Clemson because they had 2 rush yards. And so he had 121 in his debut for Wisconsin, and Wisconsin lost. We switched gears to, I said it on Facebook, this was one of the worst football games I have watched in a long, long time. Georgia, 5th-ranked Georgia versus Clemson. They played in the Panther Stadium in Charlotte. Georgia won 10-3. So we give Big Ten all that shit for being so bad. Penn State, Wisconsin game, what a snoozer. This football game was played between the 40s. One team would get it, they'd punt it. They would get it at 40, they'd punt it. They'd punt it. They'd punt it. It was terrible. Clemson's quarterback looked scared. He threw the pick 6, which was the deciding factor in this game. And I will start with you, Nick. What's your outtake? What's your takeaway of this game?
Man, my first thoughts would be going off the media broadcast from all the major networks, kind of like getting on Clemson's case about being bad. I'm just like, Georgia's offense was just as anemic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't discredit one without the other.
I'm like, it's 3 points scored for the entire game. Like, I thought it was a snooze fest between Penn State and Wisconsin. This is your marquee game of the weekend. and it's the only. I mean, give it to Georgia's defense, I guess, but it's like I understand 7 sacks is 7 sacks, but Clemson offensive line was so pitiful.
So bad.
Like it was just bad. Like I don't know what happened in the last 12 months. I'm not sure about how many starters they lost from that team last year, but to be this bad, they have 2 yards rushing.
Bro, and the thing is, I get it. Some games you're just losing by a lot. You got to throw. This game was so close. It was a 10-3 ball game. How do you not run the football?
They just abandoned it, dude. They abandoned the run game. Nine carries from the outside of the quarterback. They had 9 rush attempts in a game that ended 10-3. I just don't understand. I mean, to me, it's crazy because they're clearly 2 talented teams. And if you love defense, of course you love this game. The issue is today's football in college and the pros is not built for defenses to dominate football games like this. In order for a game to finish 10-3 and the only touchdown be a defensive touchdown, that just means the 2 offenses did not play well. Right. I don't care how great your defense is. You should be able to score more than a field goal on each side. I mean, it was atrocious. I do think both defenses are elite defenses, probably top 5 in the country between both of them. But dear God, what a bad football game.
All right, I'm going to give that. All right, so Clemson made the Bulldogs look like they were the 85 Bears out there, bro. Come on, they're not that good. There's no way they're that good. But
I mean, and it's the same thing. It's that speed that you talk about in the SEC. What separates the SEC from the other conferences is you're going to play defenses that are just as fast as your Big 12 offenses, your ACC offenses, and that's something that takes some getting used to. Clemson's not going to play that week in and week out. They're going to play some stinkers that have just terrible talent on defense, and they'll be able to get away with some of this stuff. But it was just like, dude, I don't know.
Just from watching it though, it was like, so they're supposed to have all this talent. Georgia, it was literally JT Daniels who they hyped up so much. They literally
looks like a kicker.
Dude, he literally looks like a tiny placeholder.
He looks like
back
the kicker.
Behind center. I'm like, okay, this guy's supposed to be the next best thing. We'll see about that. They hyped that dude up like crazy. It was literally he only threw to this freshman tight end. That's all he did.
Yeah.
He threw like little 5-yard outs, and I'm like, this is the most disgusting performance I've ever seen in my life. Dude, yeah. Shout out Matt. He was absolutely garbage. And people, you look at it and they're like, what a win for Georgia. He finally got his statement win. Bro, that was trash. Like, you won the football game because Justin Ross ran a slant route and kind of gave up on it a little bit, which, going back to what Caleb said, did you see what Dabo said about him? Just completely threw him under the bus in the post game. Called him out specifically and said, if you're going to run a slant route, you can't give up on your team like that, blah, 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 blah.
Wild.
Dude, Dabo's not handling this shit well. Like, you can see I'm not saying Clemson's going to be bad. There's going to be still be good this year. But you can see that the screws are slowly loosening up there in the team up north. That we shall not name.
For the last, 6 years, your last 2 quarterbacks were Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. So I think it's kind of humbling him down a little bit that, like, oh, I might actually have to change up my play call and not just allow, like, raw time, not denouncing, like, Tony Elliott. Because Tony Elliott got a lot of flack in those Clemson team boards and stuff from, like, a lot of the fans and stuff. I'm like, this guy got y'all 2 national championships as your play caller. So he knows something, right? But I think Clemson fans can be humble, and what's going to be like annoying about Clemson is their schedule is so pitiful that they're going to get probably to 9-10 wins at least, maybe 11. Even I think they're going to get upset again. I think someone's going to catch them. I'll talk down the road with a few more games, but I think they're going to get caught slipping.
All I'm going to say is, as a South Carolina fan, no 2 other teams would I rather see struggle week 1.
I mean,
beautiful game for me. Beautiful game.
I loved it. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think Clemson can bounce back. Their schedules, whatever. They can still go to the Final Four and maybe play. Imagine that replay of that game.
It's possible.
I do have a question for you guys. With the way Georgia was playing, you still think that the gap for them to win the East Division has shrunk a lot more? Or are they
It's
still
really-
like the clear favorites?
I think they're the clear favorite still. It really just depends on what Florida's got going on. We'll kind of go into the Florida game here. They beat Florida Atlantic 35-14. Florida Atlantic's not a bad team anymore. They're a decent football team, but Florida's biggest problem is they don't have a quarterback, and they're always looking for a quarterback. And they had a young kid that came in, and they were they're testing him out. They had that. I don't know if you remember a guy named Emory Jones, big 5-star quarterback. Turns out he was just not that good, but he's their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And, Florida has a lot of talent. They've always had a lot of talent. But, I still think Georgia's front seven is legit. I mean, it is elite, and I think it could beat a lot of teams. I don't think anybody's close. I think everyone's hyped over Tennessee right now.
Yeah.
Tennessee they beat the shit out of Bowling Green. And it's like they didn't really dominate them like that. I don't know if y'all watched the game, but Tennessee's quarterback, when they hike the ball, most quarterback that chops their feet and like stays moving, he sits flat-footed and just stands there. It was the strangest shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, bro, you're gonna get your head taken off when you play an actual football team.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll end up seeing on the East. So what do you think, Nick? How do you think the East ends up shaking out?
I mean, I think looking at Georgia has to be the favorite. It's kind of like I don't see there's a team that's a threat. I mean, we don't know. Like Tennessee, I guess we have competition. It's hard to judge everybody on week one, especially when you're playing lower tier FBS or even FCS schools. I think there's gonna be some upsets. I think Tennessee, South Carolina. I think everyone get into the Carolina games. So I don't highlight too much, but I think I'm very confident in South Carolina's coach, and I think South Carolina's gonna catch one team slipping every year. It's every year, and Georgia's usually the target. Usually the case.
Yeah, it was Eastern Illinois this year. We caught them slipping.
So I guess we'll kind of, since we're in the East, we'll kind of talk about South Carolina, and this is the first game in a really long time that I sat there and watched, and I didn't have any problems with the game. I sat back and I was like, it was just a very fun, clean. There was a lot of penalties down the stretch from South Carolina they can clean up, but it was like it kind of reminded me of the old days of how when we play a bad team, you don't let them score a point.
You beat them. You beat them, and you don't let them feel like they ever have a chance.
Right. And our front seven looked like I don't want to overhype it. It's week one, and we played a terrible team. I think South Carolina is going to be bad this year, but we have 4 defensive ends that are legit defensive ends, and we rotate them in. I mean, when we have Jordan Birch, who's a 5-star defensive end, as a backup, and he's clearly really talented, I think that unit is the strongest unit on the team. I also think running back is a very strong unit for South Carolina.
Yeah.
Was not happy with the offensive line. The offensive line did not look too great, and that's supposed to be a strength of South Carolina because of all the seniors and all the experience we have in that unit. But all in all, man, I think listen, South Carolina, it's a tough job. You have Clemson buzzing, you have Georgia doing their thing. Now you've got Coastal ranked,
right.
2 years in a row. I mean, it's a really tough job. You have to have somebody in there that really wants to be there, that loves the school and stuff like that. And I think I think he'll get the team right. It's just going to take a while because, you look at the first play of the game on defense, Darius Rush tips up the ball and Foster picks it off. Darius Rush was a 3-star wide receiver in Lower State, South Carolina, coming out of high school. Our secondary is maybe one of the worst secondaries in the country. So I think when we play a tougher team, we're going to struggle a little bit. But it was cool to see them because I saw a coach those guys more than I saw a coach our last regime coach first rounders. So
yes,
Yeah.
It's like it was night and day just watching them play. I mean, we have Zeb Nolan. They had to cut the man's jersey all up. 'Cause
Oh,
he's so
busted can of biscuits, Zeb Nolan.
Zeb
Busting
Nolan,
out of his shirt.
They had to cut the jersey up. My man had a gut, bro. He was committing to coaching. He's like, listen, I'm never going to play again. I'm just going to, I can let myself go a little bit.
Didn't even need the flak jacket.
Bro,
Plenty of
he
cushion.
He had a flat jacket built in.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out Caleb. It said Beam Team Shane Train. I agree. But going back to South Carolina, I like the way we look to start off with. It was fun. It was fun. And who knows how many games we're gonna get like that this year. So you gotta enjoy them when you can. But it was just a game where you could sit down and relax and be like, damn, dude, we dominated that football game. Because you remember, even going back to like last year, we played against a team that won 2 football games. We let them score 31 points.
We were one of the teams that won 2 football games.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying.
We were that team on everyone else's schedule.
Yeah. I don't know. So what you think about the Gamecocks? Remy, we'll start with you.
I mean, it's spot on. It was what we needed to see out of the team, playing a much inferior opponent in Eastern Illinois, who clearly just isn't there. They just don't. They didn't have the talent to beat other FCS teams. So, I liked what I saw from, like I said, the running back position without Kevin Harris looked good. Zeb Nolan, you couldn't have asked for more from a guy who literally, like you said, 2 weeks ago, thought he was never going to play football again. Like, just done. I'm going to be a coach. Played well, showed some zip. We'll see. It looks like it's Doty's job. They're going to go back to Doty when he's healthy. I've got to see if Doty can throw the ball. I've got to see if he's improved that part of his game. I'll be honest, if he hasn't, I don't mind letting Zeb Nolan go out there and sling it around a little bit. You got to be able to throw the ball. It's got to be something that's at least a threat. We're going to be able to run the ball well throughout the year with that stable of running backs as long as the offensive line picks it up. But I would, like I said, if Doty struggles and he can't sling it, throw Zeb back out there. I mean, what's it going to hurt?
I think Zeb's going to start next game.
Do you?
I think Doty. Yeah, okay. I think Zeb's going to run out there and start. They're going to try to see if we can put Doty, run him. Zeb's the starter listed for next game, and they have Doty at number 2. We'll see. So what you think of the old Gamecocks, Nick?
Look, man, I mean, kind of picking back what Remy was saying, like they did what they were supposed to do against a team that's pretty bad. For me, I was like, especially in the first half when you don't have the chance to make the adjustments at halftime or stuff, I was like, all right, they're up 29-0 at halftime. So that was clear stuff. I think this test up of East Carolina is actually kind of give you an ideal what to really expect from South Carolina, right, especially being an early game on the road. East Carolina's not a horrible team. Actually, I was watching that game they had with App State, and it was actually a pretty competitive game to App State pull out later in the game. Mm-hmm. So I think it's be a good test. And right now, South Carolina has to get all the wins they can, given the schedule they have.
I don't think they could ask for a better week 2. Like, this is a giant
test.
Gauge.
Yeah,
right.
This is a test.
It's
see
like
where we are.
The team's not terrible. Like ECU's not terrible. They're not great by any means. They're probably like around the average to below average football team. It's on the road. So, it's a 9 a.m. kickoff for me. Looking forward to that. Rolling out of bed, get to watch it. So Saturday's actually going to be a long day for me. Tottenham play Crystal Palace at 4:30 in the morning, my time. So I'll be waking up at 4:30 in the morning to watch the soccer game. Hopefully, catch about an hour nap before the Carolina game, and then that starts my day of nothing but football.
You are a dedicated fan.
I am dedicated. So we have RCO Cutno in the building here. He said, just tuned in. What do you think our record's going to be this year? And Remy, we're going to start with you. We're going to look at the Gamecock schedule, and we're going to break it down like we did before.
4 wins.
You think we won 4 wins?
4 wins.
Okay. So we'll go week by week. We'll see what. So after we have a kind of a we're gonna go off the ledger off the week 1. We'll start with you, Remy. Do we win or lose at ECU.
We win.
How about you, Nick? What do you think?
I think that's a win by double scores.
Okay. Double-digit win there, predictive Nick. I also think we're going to go in and beat them up. And this is me believing in South Carolina once again. We'll see. So it's just 2 wins. So then we have at Georgia. We all think that's an L, right?
Yeah, that's L.
Okay. So they're 2-1. Now this is the big one. This is the game where it's
sneak.
like, if we can please. We have home against Kentucky. This is a giant game. What do you think, Remy?
I think it's an L still. I think it's a close game. I think it's one where we could pull it off. I'm not saying we're going to lose by a lot, but I do think it's an L.
Yeah. Shout out Adam, giving you a headband swag. Headband getting some love today. My dad said Carolina's played 8 homecomings this year. So I think this is me. This is me believing again. But dang, Ritter says we're gonna upset Georgia. Don't bet on that, buddy.
Yeah, save your money. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. So I think we're gonna beat Kentucky. What do you think about the Kentucky game, Nick?
I think I agree with you. I think South Carolina's going to win that game, and to me, it's kind of like a toss-up. So when it's a toss-up game, always go with the home team. It's also the first big game, kind of a big home game for South Carolina. So I felt like the stadium is going to be rocking.
It's going to be sick.
It'll be sick. Then you come off a loss with Georgia, at least an assumption. I feel like it's a good gauge.
Dude, just imagine. I'm just hypothetically. Just imagine we go into Georgia and win that football game with the talent that we have on our football team right now. We might as well sign the coaching staff up forever if we could win that football game.
I mean, Jordan Birch did outscore their offense. So
Jordan Birch, by the way, ran 20 miles an hour on that pick.
I saw that. Back up. It's a joke.
Back up. So I have them winning. So that's 3-1. Home against Troy. 4-1. We all think they beat Troy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
At Tennessee.
Ooh.
We can. I don't
think we could beat them. I don't think we do beat them, but I think we can. I hate Tennessee, bro.
Yeah. I don't think Tennessee's that good. I think it's more so that Tennessee's bad.
And I mean, like you said, it is at Tennessee, and we don't do good at Tennessee that well. We always remember back when Carolina was really good. And we had that one game where we lost because that one guy, whatever his name is, North, caught that one pass on Akeem Auguste. I'll never forgive them for that. And we end up not going to the SEC because of it. Yeah. But I think we lose that one. Do you all think we lose that one?
Yeah, I think that's L.
All right, so 4-2 for me and Nick, 3-3 for Remy. Remy, you just keep your own because you're in the L. Home against Vanderbilt, we might win this one by 80.
Dub.
So 5-2, and now it gets a little tougher. We have
really
at A&M. We have at A&M, 5-3. We all think we lose that one. At home against Florida, 5-4. At Missouri, 6-4. I think. What do you think about the Missouri game?
We can win it. I mean, I don't think Missouri's a very good team either. We struggle at Missouri most of the time, but I think it's a winnable game. You know what? I'll change it. I'll say we win 5 games. I'll say we beat Missouri.
Okay, so you think we'll go 5-7 then? Because you look at the last 2, Auburn and Clemson, we're probably going to lose those games.
Yeah,
I think we go 6-6.
I mean, 6-6 is fair. I mean, 5-7, 6-6. I think
that right there is a good.
I mean, honestly, Missouri, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky are going to be the 3 games really kind of solid.
Yeah,
that's all I do unless they get a surprise upset.
Well, yeah, I think Kentucky, Tennessee, and Missouri. Those are the 3 games that depend on our season, like of how we end up doing. But hey, we can win all 3 of those games. We could also lose all 3 of those games.
If we go 5-7, I'll be ecstatic.
Same. Same. So there's our South Carolina predictions. Y'all are welcome. Didn't plan on doing that, but put us on the spot. I agree with Cutna there. 6-6 will be good.
Good.
Let's see here. What else we got going on in week 1? Anything else big here? We have. Oh yeah, we had the big Washington lost at home to Montana. So,
Yeah, that's Pac-12, man.
bro, nobody really cares about. Yeah, LSU. Yes, we'll break down that one real quick. We have LSU at UCLA. Shout out to Colby. He was at the game. Colby went to the
nice.
UCLA game. Yeah, he was out there.
One of the 14 people that were there.
Yeah, it was hardly anybody there. But yeah, so this game was LSU is just turning into they're just constantly had that they had that one good year with just crazy talent at offense, and they had Burrow setting the world on fire, and I think they're always overrated. They've been bad for a little while now. I will say, you watch that football game, UCLA dominated them on the offensive and defensive lines.
Yeah,
and it was pretty like, whoa, and LSU has all that talent, but dude, they got beat up pretty good. And let's see here, Matt Ritter says, do you think the Chip Kelly era is going to get going now? What do you think, Nick? 2-0?
I mean, 2-0, 2 impressive wins. I think their schedule lines up where they can make noise. Look at their division. I mean, they're going to have to deal with SC. They're going to have to deal with Arizona State. And I'm not even too sure about those two schools, how they're going to be. And look, I'm not going to – Chip Kelly's a hell of a coach. I know a lot of people have a lot of flack with him, how he was in the NFL. But it's his college game, I mean, at Oregon, I mean, he made it to a national championship, so he knows what he's doing. Now he's in LA. If he can get that massive recruiting base they have down there in Cali and keep that talent in state and not let them go to the SEC as they have been doing, I feel like they can get back into the conversation. They could be a dark horse team that's under the radar and starts kind of popping late, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, I think they could.
Pac-12 sucks.
I think they could win the Pac-12. I think just looking at the talent on the team. Shout out Neil. He's a big Eagles fan. He says Chip Kelly's a clown. We know what he did to y'all. And of course, go Birds again. But yeah, going back to UCLA, I think this could be the year where they kind of turn the corner a little bit and they could win the Pac-12.
Well, I mean, I know this, Barry, but the old Kip Kelly curse, I don't know if it's ready to let go. I don't know if the old Kip Kelly curse is ready to be lifted. So
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, they could. It's the Pac-12 is wide open. They've got a physical team. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's sad because, like you said, Arizona State's ranked and nobody gives a shit. Like this Pac-12 out here,
one cares.
Nobody cares about football out here. Nobody goes to games. It's really sad. But because I mean, all these towns are just pro towns. Nobody cares about these college sports in these towns. But
yeah,
we briefed. So we had 17th Indiana played Iowa, and I think that Iowa could be a little bit of a sleeper in the Big Ten. They kind of had a weird year last year with the whole COVID thing. They only played a couple games. They had the COVID stuff in and out. I really like Iowa in the they beat the dog shit out of Indiana, and Indiana's got a good football team. They brought a lot of guys back from last year. They surprised some people. I've always been an Iowa guy. I've always grew up they're kind of like my team in the Big Ten. I like Iowa. I don't know. I think if they, I'm interested to see. Do they play Ohio State? I'm sure they got it, right?
Nah, they're in the other division.
They don't. Yeah, they don't.
So
okay.
Congrats, I think Iowa's going to be what people expect Wisconsin to be.
Yeah,
quite honestly,
that's a good analogy for sure.
And we're going to find out this week as they got a college game day down there, Iowa State and Iowa, which is little mind blowing to me that this is college game day.
Right, college game day. And Iowa State, I watched that game. So Iowa State beat Northern Iowa 16-10. Terrible football game.
Terrible.
Iowa State's ranked 7th in the country. What? What? 7th?
16-10 against Northern Iowa, dude. Like I said, this is the issue with college football right now. And until some of these teams can hopefully figure it out, there's no way a top 10 team should beat Northern Iowa 16-10. That's a tragedy in college football.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Ohio State could be they could meet up in the championship game. I don't know. It's college football is so weird right now, and it's always week 1. You look at the week 1 rankings, and you're like, okay, Iowa State's ranked 7th. North Carolina's ranked 10th.
Not no more.
Yeah, Southern Cal's they'll be forever ranked. Washington was ranked 20th, and they lost to Montana at home. Texas, they actually look decent. We'll kind of talk a little bit about Texas. They played Louisiana Raging Cajuns, who were ranked 23rd in the country, and they beat them. But they beat them up pretty good. They look good on both sides of the ball.
Look, I was more impressed with Texas. Not saying that I'm expecting anything great from them, but that Louisiana team was pretty good. They tied their co-champs with Coastal in the Sun Belt last year, and I watched that game with them in Coastal, and it was like that quarterback they have is really good. So the fact that they at least a really good scrambler, I'm not saying he's an elite passer or anything, but he can make plays with his ground game. That ground game's pretty good, and the first half was pretty competitive, and Texas defense took it up a notch in the second half. In the game, they pulled away in the end. I'm curious about Texas. We've been waiting for a couple years now. Is Texas back?
God, I hate that.
I don't think Texas was ever here.
Vince Young was a long time ago.
And Colt McCoy national champion. Like Texas to me is kind of like Miami, in the fact they were not as bad as maybe as Miami, but they will have just a good year. Everybody gets gassed them up, then they go 6-6 the following season. But we see how they do down the road.
We'll see. I mean, I think college football is better when they're good. Like I think college football would be better if Miami was a constant threat. These are teams that have a giant pull across the country, and I just watching Texas, they look so much better than they did at any time under Tom Herman.
Yeah,
I think Sarkisian. I think he's the right coach for him. And the problem is they lost all that talent to teams like Texas A&M, TCU. They started getting Baylor, started pulling all their talent away, and the exposure wasn't enough for them to maintain a high level. But we'll see. I like what I saw week 1. We'll say there. And let's see here. We're gonna talk. Of course, we got to end it. I guess make sure I didn't miss anything from other than. Of course, we're gonna move to what turned out to be an amazing football game Sunday. Notre Dame, 9th-ranked Notre Dame at Nick's Florida State.
Who knows?
Florida State. They went out and pretty much took every transfer portal person in the world to fill out a team, and it worked. I mean, they look like a football team again. Nick, we'll give you the floor for this one.
Oh man, So, I ain't lie, I was nervous about this game. The only thing I was looking forward to this game is be competitive. That's all. It's been a rough 4 years. Rough, man. So just to see that, and I mean, even in the game, we got down to 18. That's when it was like, oh man, not again. That's at home, about to get blown out on national TV.
Yep.
But it's finally nice to see with our players fight. That's all you ask for, to be able to compete. But like, all right, we didn't get down. We're not getting late penalties because we're frustrated. We just pretty much didn't give up. Then, like, almost poetic justice that Mackenzie Melton comes in. He almost
brought him back.
And I almost brought him back. Like, dude, that would have been the movie. That would have been the ESPN 30 for 30. Right? Like, right then and there. Moving forward, it's going to be interesting. Because the very initial thing you see when he first came in is that Jordan Travis didn't have his pocket presence, quick decisions, know where the ball. His arm is still there. I know he took off on a scramble, and I got nervous, like, oh man, slide, bro, don't get hit.
Right.
Don't get hit, man. So I think everybody, like, it's kind of like what you said earlier with Texas and Miami. Florida State's a big brand on the national scene, and if they're good, it's better for college football. Right. Also, ACC needs as much help as possible right now. So if they can get back to any kind of relevancy right now, it would be great. But moving forward, I mean, I think they can make some noise. They got about 4 games after this game, Notre Dame. They should win stuff, at least going to North Carolina, which that game would be on the road. But overall, I was ecstatic. Those, like you said, those transfers worked. We had about 11 starters be transfers coming from Georgia, South Carolina, Kansas, and a few other players, and they all were a factor.
It's
Jermaine
weird.
Johnson from Georgia was.
Oh my God! Shout out Jermaine Johnson. I don't know if anybody y'all ever heard of this dude. He's going to be a top 10 draft.
Easily.
This dude is amazing, and I want to kind of give a shout out to the ACC because they technically lost this game, but this was a dub in the ACC's book. Yeah, it's like, damn, Florida State almost won this, so we'll take that as a win. How bad everybody else did.
It was the best highlight of the weekend for ACC.
Yep, it was losing by 3 points.
Lost. Notre Dame was the highlight of the weekend.
And I will say, the jury's still out on Notre Dame, but I will say this: it's tough. Week 1 going on the road to Florida State, this crowd was popping, and Florida State's defense is legit. I think they have a lot of good pieces on that team. I mean, it's hosh-posh mixed together, but it worked. And you could clearly see, I mean, Florida State's front 7 is nasty. So I think that alone is going to keep them in a lot of football games this year. And they have SEC talent at the defensive line spot, and that's just going to dominate the ACC. Yeah, so, and you got to like from a head coaching point of view, he had the boys ready to play. And that's all you can ask for. You kind of look back at all the past coaching debacles that's been Florida State, and it was good to see the Noles on the football field. Like, okay, I've never been a big fan of Florida State. I just grew up watching them dominate when I was little, because they were always insanely good. And I was never a big fan of it, but you kind of miss these teams being good. You don't want to see them suck forever. Yeah, rip Bobby Bowden. The ghost of Bobby Bowden had the place buzzing.
Yeah, the place buzzing.
It was pretty cool. And shout out to Jack Cohn, the quarterback. He had a really good game for
he Notre balled, Dame. 4 touchdowns. I think 300 yards passing.
Yeah, he looked good. Notre Dame, I think, everyone likes to hate Notre Dame because they're always overrated.
Yeah.
But I think they have a good football team, and their safety is Ed Reed-esque.
Yes.
Dude, he was all over the place. The man was insane. And he's also going to be a first-round draft pick. So this was it was one of those games where you sat there on Sunday night and you're like, I just want a good football game. And that's what they gave us. They gave us a damn good football game. And then we'll kind of go into the last football game of the week, which was not a good football game. And it was Ole Miss versus Louisville. And ACC had to take another shot on the way out of week 1.
Right.
Because Ole Miss didn't even have their head coach. And it didn't matter. They were dominating them boys. Ole Miss ended up beating them pretty good. Louisville, I thought they were going to be better than what they look like. They have a really good, I thought they have a really good dual threat quarterback. But Ole Miss, man, are y'all believing in the hype of Ole Miss?
I think they'll have a good football team. I do. I honestly think what I saw from them, especially on the offensive side of the ball, old buddy was out there slinging it. And like I said, it was
out there last year. The offense was good last year. The defense was the worst ever. But
that was without the head coach. So, I'm not saying win the SEC because they're not, but they're going to be a good football team this year.
I mean, quite honestly, I think they're probably the third best team in the SEC West right now, after A&M and Bama. That defense, which there's no comment I'm saying after this. That defense was so insanely physical with Louisville. Like they abused Louisville, and I guess it's kind of hard to read into that until SEC competition starts. But I'm impressed. I mean, if that defense could be like an average defense and just not give up 40 points a game, I think they're gonna make some noise,
dude. They have a wide receiver. His number 11. He just made the game look so casual. He was out there stiff arming, hurdling over people. I'm like, dude, whoever this dude is nuts. They have a really good offense. All you needed their defense is like they're kind of like Dallas in the NFL. Just have a pulse.
Yeah.
Just be average, and we're gonna win football games. Don't give up 550 yards a game and 400 yards in the air a game as they did last year. So
remember a couple years ago, that old Ole Miss defense, the Land Sharks, where they just forced all those turnovers? I mean, I think even if you just have an aggressive defense that just tries to force turnovers and just try and make something happen, I think they could have a really bend but not break. If they could just have a defense that holds teams to field goals, that could be a really good football team and moving in the right direction for sure.
But yeah, kind of wrapping it up. College football, great week 1.
Before we jump,
go ahead. Sorry.
Before we jump off of there, I want to give 2 shout outs to some small schools with some crazy stats. Fordham linebacker Ryan Greenhagen finished with a NCAA Division I record 31 tackles in their game.
They got the doors blown off of them.
They got absolutely blown out. They got 52-7. They originally credited him with 30 tackles that would have tied the record, but they reviewed the stats and he officially finished with an NCAA record 31 tackles. My man had to be exhausted at the end of that football game.
Black and blue.
And then former Newberry rival Presbyterian College quarterback goes out and throws for 10 passing touchdowns in a game. The coach apparently that they hired is notorious. He was a high school coach. He never punted. He always went for 2, and he onside kicked every play after every touchdown or field goal.
Sounds like Madden.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a Madden character. Presbyterians put up 84 points with 12 touchdowns, 10 of them passing touchdowns from a Michigan transfer. Record-breaking weekend for 2 small schools. Yes, PC has a better football team than Newberry. They got bumped up. That used to be our rival, and then all of a sudden they bumped them up. But
they got upgraded. So
10 passing touchdowns. This is wild.
So we're gonna kind of transition this into NFL Week 1. So as you know, the NFL season starts tomorrow. Make sure everybody sets your lineups, get everything going. We're going to break down Week 1. We're going to, and as if y'all remember our podcast from last year, we had a guest picker on every week, and me and Remy never lost. So we might as well be fitting to have Nick be Week 1 guest picker.
Shock the world, baby.
And Remy, I wrote them down last year. You got to write them down this year. Have fun with that,
bruh. I ain't got the paper for this.
Yeah, so what I normally did was I would like bracket out before we started, but I'm just better at that.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with, of course, Thursday night. We have the Cowboys Buccaneers. It's a pretty good game to start the NFL slate off with. Nick, who do you think wins this one?
I mean, you can't bet against Brady. By now, you should know better. Even though, I think a lot of it for me is kind of just not knowing where Dak Prescott is going to be coming off the injury. I think the Bucks going to take this one. I think they're going to start the season hot. They have to. With it being the NFC South, the divisions will be pretty competitive this year.
All right. So I am going to take the Cowboys in an upset.
Oh,
Let's go. Cowboys are winning this division. I'm all in on the Cowboys this year. Let's go. Cowboys upset the Bucks tomorrow night. Calling it.
Terry trying to get that ESPN contract, bro.
tell you that contract, man. Oh,
Right.
man.
Hey.
Steve A. Get Steve A. You know, just let
Hey,
that go.
Stephen A would cuss me out right now. Who you got, Remy, in this one?
I got Tampa Bay. I got Tampa Bay. I just returning all the starters. They're
This is going to be the quick game where I get a one up on y'all boys.
all right. Bet.
Yep. Dallas wins. I can't wait. So then we'll go in. We'll start with the Eagle. We'll go Sunday games. Eagles, Falcons. Nick, who you got in this one?
I gotta go with Atlanta. Take Atlanta at home. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be Rookie of the Year candidate. I think he's going to be that much of an X factor for the Falcons, kind of like Travis Kelce-ish
Okay.
vibes, but just a little bit faster, a little more athletic
A little more athletic, yeah.
and stuff. So Falcons with us.
Okay. So you got Falcons here. Remy, you write that down?
I got it.
All right. Who you got, Remy?
This is a tough one. I don't think these are two pretty bad teams.
Yeah.
give me the Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Eagles
For the
fly.
Phillies fans. For the Phillies fans in the back. I'm going to take the Falcons in this one.
Ooh.
Falcons at home. That's the pick. So we'll go down to the Steelers Bills. Now this football game is gonna be a good one. Your local 10 a.m. kick out here in Arizona. Steelers Bills. Who you got, Nick?
Man, this is probably the best game of the weekend. Looking back into it. Fun fact: Najee Harris has been like one of the top 3 or 4. Well, I said top 5, 6 running backs go in after the given 3. I'm gonna go black and yellow, man. I think the Steelers gonna take them. I think they're gonna make some noise week 1.
Okay. Who you got, Remy?
Buffalo. Bills.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. You know I'm taking my Bills. Let's go.
Pains me to say every week.
I'm
I
gonna
need
get a
them to be
Bills
bad
tattoo on
again.
my other arm, Remy.
Oh God, we'll have to end the podcast. It's the death of it.
Go down to Vikings, Bengals. Nick, who you got?
Man, Joe Burrow is coming back and gets his Jahmyr Chase back along with T. Higgins on the other side. I think Cincinnati has a sneaky daily offense, man. Not a lot of people give him credit for it. But my man, and I think potential MVP, Dalvin Cook, is going to shock the world and kind of let you know that he is probably going to be the best running back in the NFL this year.
Okay, Florida State homer there.
David. Go Nose.
He is top 3 running back for sure. I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one. Who you got, Remy?
I also have the Vikings. I'm a Cincinnati guy with that offense. I'm so excited to watch, hopefully, a healthy Joe Burrow play with those guys. But what you don't look at is just how bad that defense is. I think the Vikings win pretty easily.
Okay. Go down to the 49ers at the Lions. Nick, what are we saying?
49ers, I think this is a dark horse for the Super Bowl team. I think it's going to come down to quarterback play. Lions, I don't even really know who even on this team anymore other than Swift at running back. I got to go with the 49ers, definitely.
Yep, 49ers for me. Short and sweet. Lions suck hard.
Yeah, 49ers. Lions are terrible.
Okay, so we're all in the 49ers there. This can be a good football game. And we have the Cardinals at the Titans. Titans are dealing with some COVID issues. I think they cleared Tannehill. Tannehill's cleared for this.
Yeah, he'll be ready to go.
Who you got, Nick?
It's kind of a pick 'em game, but I'm gonna go with the home team. Go with the Titans.
Titans.
Definitely, the defense is gonna make
Okay.
some noise in that game.
Yeah, Titans are gonna be good this year for sure. I got the Titans in this one as well. What are you saying, Remy?
Titans. Pro Titans podcast this year.
Big, yep, Titans podcast this year. Shout out.
Jamie.
And we have Seattle at the Colts. This is a good matchup.
Ooh, there's a game.
Seattle at the Colts. Who you got?
Oh man, well I took Russell Wilson as my first quarterback in most of my fantasy leagues this year, so I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. Make some noise in this game.
Okay, Seahawks. Who you got, Remy?
This to me is kind of a coin flip game. It all depends on what Carson Wentz shows up. If he shows up, if he plays, we'll see. I want to say if this was in Seattle, I would take Seattle, but since it's in Indy, I'm going to take Indianapolis.
Okay, I'm going to go with Seattle here, and I want to take the Colts, but I got to see what Wentz has got going on before I ride with them. So I'm going to go with Seattle. Go down to the Chargers versus the Washington football team. Another great football game. What are we saying, Nick?
Fitz magic, dog.
Fitz magic.
He's about to sprinkle it on you, man. And that defense is nasty, man. They might have one of the best defensive lines, definitely in the NFL. I gotta go with football team on this one.
Football team. DC all day says, yeah, Washington is legit. I'm going with Washington in this one as well.
I thought you were for sure. I already wrote you down Chargers, dude. Look at me. Look at me.
Look at you, dude.
Yeah, Washington. That defense is just too nice. And Eckler might not play.
Yeah,
Eckler mispracticed today with a hamstring. So
shout out. Last year we did a review of, so we're gonna kind of do it different because last year we did a Monday, we recorded the NFL week in review that we released on Tuesday, and then we did a Thursday fantasy football podcast. We're gonna kind of see about the fantasy stuff this year. We'll see if we end up doing it or not, because now we're gonna go live from moving forward. We're gonna try to go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And then we're gonna of course release other podcasts along as well. So we'll go down to the Jets Panthers.
Oh man,
who you got?
I gotta go with the Panthers for that, being the home team. Also, Sam Darnold. I mean, this is if you could start the season the way you could start the season for Sam Darnold, this is the perfect opportunity to start the season playing against your former team. Let them know, hey, you chose wrong.
Hey,
week one revenge game.
Is that right there? Panthers, baby.
Let's go.
You already know. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, Panthers. Let's fucking get it.
The homers. But yes, I mean the Panthers
Yeah,
win.
you see the blue?
The Jets are probably the worst. The Jets are probably the worst team in the league. So Panthers win.
Panthers got this one. We're gonna start the season off strong. If Darnold is just decent at quarterback, we have a good football team this year.
Be careful.
I really like the defense. We just need to be decent.
Brian Burns, potential defensive of the year candidate, player of the year.
And we have Chin at safety now, dude. I'm telling you, the we got some players on defense, man.
I'm excited about
Horn.
Defense,
I'm excited about watching the defense play too. We'll go down to now this game. I don't even know why it's even televised. It's we have the Jaguars at the Texans. Ooh, who wins this one?
They got to televise it for Sunshine and Urban Meyer.
Yeah,
at minimal. So I'm gonna go with the Jags on this. I think Trevor Lawrence starts his rookie season with a dub.
Okay. Who you got, Remy?
Jags. Houston.
I got the Texans at home.
No, come on.
Oh no.
Texans at home. This is
dude. You better hope I beat Nick.
Bro, you better stop
these terrible picks.
Nah,
Houston.
Texans at home. Yep. All right. Then we go down to another really good football game. Browns at the Chiefs. I mean, week one's coming in hot with these games.
Man, that's a pick 'em right there. Myles Garrett, Clowney on that defensive line, taking on that
Ooh.
KC offense. It's
Casey's given 6, by the way, in this game. If you're a betting man,
man.
given 6.
I can't pick against Patrick Mahomes, man. So I gotta go with the Chiefs.
This is the one, Remy, where we both said we picked the Chiefs, but don't be surprised.
I just
Browns
changed
go.
my pick.
You got Browns?
I got the Browns. And I say that because I think the Browns have the one thing that messed Patrick Mahomes up, and that's a pass rush that they don't have to blitz. They're not going to have to blitz him. They're going to be able to just rush 4 and get to him. I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm changing it up. I'm picking the Browns to win.
I will say, if the Browns win this football game, look out. Look
Makes
out.
noise.
Oh, they're nice, dude.
They're going to put a lot of people on alert if they win that one.
So, Terry, you got the Chiefs?
Chiefs, yeah.
All right.
Chiefs. Dolphins, Patriots. Who you got, Nick?
I think this is going to be Tua's coming out party.
Bro,
I think
Patriots are a favorite in this football game.
Wrong.
I know. I think so, but I think
This is
Tua's gonna
free
make some
money here.
noise.
Boys.
Having Waddle as a threat receiver, another year of experience. I gotta go with the Dolphins on this one.
Dude, for what I was reading, Remy, a lot of people are sleeping on your fence.
Duh.
Everybody's sleeping on the Dolphins. It's crazy.
Bro. We could sit here for an hour. The Athletic did a thing on the top teams in the AFC. They ranked us behind the Broncos, bro.
Oh no,
Bro, I could go for hours with this stuff about just the media, just for some reason, just absolutely shitting on us.
I have the Dolphins.
Status is the 11th best team in the conference. 11th best team. Only 4 teams worse than us.
I have the
Joke.
Dolphins in this one. I'm guessing you have the Fins.
Dolphins by 1 million, baby.
By 1 million. Let's
By a
fucking
million.
go. 2 a time, baby. Packers at the Saints. What do we say, Nick?
oh man, dark horse MVP candidate, famous Jameis. Dude, I think Jameis is
Famous
Jameis Winston's
Jameis.
gonna put up some great numbers.
Okay.
I know a lot of people say he threw 30 interceptions, but you still throw 5,000 yards in this league. You're doing something right. So give him Sean Payton as his coach. I think Saints is gonna make some noise this year. Go with Saints.
Oh my God. The Florida State home. Remy, we're chilling. We ain't gotta worry about this 20,
Yeah.
boy.
I ain't worried.
I
ain't
got
stressing.
Packers. Bro, watching Jameis Winston try to run through that tackle dummy was maybe one of the most hilarious videos I've ever seen in my life. I watched it a bazillion times.
So just to give you a little perspective here, Nick, last season, Cam Newton was a starting NFL quarterback for 15 games. He threw 8 passing touchdowns. And Jameis Winston's last season as a starter, he threw 7 pick sixes. So he threw almost as many touchdowns to the wrong team as Cam Newton threw all season to the right team. So we'll see. There's a lot of people hyping him up.
Hey,
I'm not one of them.
He got his eyes fixed now.
Who's he throwing to?
He got his eyes fixed.
Who's he? He ain't got. He ain't got Mike Evans.
Bro, it's that gimpy pinky he's got, dude. He can't control the football.
He ain't got Mike Evans. He ain't got Chris Godwin. He's got who's the number 1 wide receiver in New Orleans?
Caraway right now. I think it's Michael
Ooh.
Thomas.
Callaway or whatever.
Ooh.
Callaway.
Oof.
I think
He was
he's gonna be
undrafted
he's
rookie,
gonna be
right?
the next Marquez Colston, man.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, he's the next one. Okay. All right.
Another bull.
Big hype. We'll see.
All right. We'll see. We got Packers though. Broncos at the Giants.
Ooh, man, that's actually. Oh man, I don't know
It's
if
a
we all
tough-
believe
it's a
in
tough-
Daniel Jones.
No.
I don't know. Saquon come off an injury. I gotta go with the Broncos. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than people give him credit for. He wasn't great with the Panthers last year, but
You damn
I
sure
mean
wasn't
it's
good.
average. And I think that team they have around them, especially that receiver, man, they got some pretty good receivers out there in Denver.
Yeah.
I think they can at least beat the Giants, put up some points on them. Even though the Giants defense is pretty good.
Hey, just remember though, Carolina also had some good receivers.
Fair point.
Teddy Bridgewater just does not like throwing the ball down the field.
He just doesn't like getting it in the end zone. They put up yards. Just can't score. He threw 16 touchdowns. They can't.
He
It's
doesn't
always
have
been
a,
the knock on
he
him.
doesn't have a big arm, so
No.
he can't really push the ball down the field. I'm gonna take the Giants at home here. if the Giants lose this game, they're only going to win a couple games all year. Who you got, Remy?
I got Denver. I got the
Denver.
Broncos pulling this one off.
We got a lot of different picks here. Yeah,
I got a lot of right picks.
We have the Bears at the LA Rams.
I felt like my pick would have been different if they decided to start Justin Fields.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
But
No, it wouldn't.
no, it probably
No,
wouldn't.
it wouldn't.
I'm lying. I gotta go with the man.
Yeah, that's
I'm trying to gas myself. I'm lying. No, I gotta go with the
Yeah.
Rams. Matthew Stafford.
you got to chill out.
Yeah. Throw the rookie out there to Aaron Donald. Let's see what happens.
Hey,
Jalen
look,
Ramsey. Yeah, throw Justin Fields out there with those guys.
Yeah, I gotta go with the
But,
Rams. Definitely.
But yeah, I think the Rams here. We all think, right? We're all on the Rams.
Yeah, we're all
yeah.
Rams.
The fact that you even mentioned that you were even thinking about picking the Bears is I'm about to remove you from this live.
Yeah.
So we end with Monday night. Ravens at the Raiders. It seems like every season the Raiders are always on Monday night to start the year.
Yeah,
man.
it really does.
John Gruden.
Well, that's like the first game at that stadium they have with fans in it.
Yeah.
And I rode by that stadium out in Vegas. It is nuts. It looks crazy.
The Death Star, dude. Thing's
The Death
wild.
Star.
Oh man.
But so who you got in this one?
Man. To me, this is one of those pick'em games, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I'm not gonna bet against Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Even though I think the Raiders defense got to show me something before I can choose them. I have faith in them.
Okay, yeah, I think the Ravens are gonna be pretty good. I got the Raiders in this one.
Oh,
Let's go. Raiders week 1 home game coming out swinging.
I guess I'm about to finally beat you guys with Terry.
Dude, well, I mean, that's not fair because Terry's about to go like 4-12 or whatever.
I gotta start off hot, boys. We're coming in hot.
Hot.
We're coming in hot.
What?
We're coming in hot.
You sure you don't want to pick the Bears? You sure you don't want to switch?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Gross.
Remember, I told you, dude. I think the Raiders are gonna be decent in our AFC preview.
Yeah, they're gonna be decent. I agree.
So-
They'll be a decent team.
I mean, they
ain't
got
beating
tough
the Ravens.
division, man.
They ain't beating the Ravens.
Yeah, we'll
Ravens are
see.
nice. Well,
We'll see.
I say that the Ravens are one injured running back away from a tragedy. So
Yeah, right.
Well, that was kind of our NFL week 1 pick'ems. We appreciate Nick coming on and being our guest star for this live, our second ever live edition. Before we get out of here, Nick, you want to give a shout out to what you got going on again? Maybe let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, guys. Once again, definitely subscribe to the podcast, Whole City High. Check on the website. Follow us on all major podcast platforms, including follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I'm actually kind of setting up a home studio, so I'm hopefully start going live myself soon. Using this web service, I heard good things about them. Where I'm starting interviewing local businessmen, bartenders, little small business people, kind of get the little society culture of what's going on here in the whole city. So
the
stay
big
tuned.
city of Chucktown.
Chucktown, baby.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate you coming on. Remy, you want to give a shout out to everybody that's tuned in, that's kind of give us some questions and hung out with us for the past hour and a half?
dude, just scrolling through the comments on here, man, I love it. I absolutely love seeing the interaction, getting people in here, just the chat. I mean, half of them isn't even questions. This is people throwing in comments. I absolutely love it. Make sure for all of you that are listening, I see we still have a ton of people on Facebook. Of course, you can always find us on there. Please, please, please go follow the YouTube channel.
Please.
We need
Subscribe.
some YouTube love. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we get, the more stuff we can start to do on YouTube. So, like I said, I appreciate the watch on Facebook. Just jump over to that YouTube page and hit that subscribe button.
So yeah, our first big thing that YouTube wants us to get is 100 subscribers, so I can make a custom URL, so it's just not a bunch of weird numbers. So definitely hit that subscribe button if y'all watching on Facebook or whatever. Switch over to YouTube and hit us up on there. Also, this will go up on YouTube when we're done, and it'll be there if you know maybe you missed it or something. You want to go back and you want to listen to something that we talked about in the past. The whole video will be up on there, and we're going to try to do some more YouTube stuff. So we'll have it clipped up. So if we want to go to remove it and take it to Twitter and stuff, so we'll have our picks live and in color.
Yeah. Also, too, of course, ask all the questions while we're live that you want. But if you don't get one in, throw it on the Facebook page or on the Twitter page, and we'll answer it during our actual podcast that we do. Because I know Terry, I know you think that's my favorite thing is when we get these questions and we can kind of just roll on the things that you guys want to hear and talk about. I think that's my favorite part of this whole thing. So throw them up there.
So we're gonna try to go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every week. We're gonna kind of mix and match and see what we're gonna talk about. When all this stuff comes on, I see Matt wants to do some college picks. We might do top 25 picks or something. If there's a big game, we can do breakdowns like that. We're also going to look into maybe doing some more betting line stuff because we did betting line stuff last year for college.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get back into doing that. It's just been kind of crazy, hectic trying to get everything going. Where before we were doing 3 pods a week. Now we're kind of we're back to we kind of dulled it down to 1, but now we're going to try to do 1 full podcast we release on all of our podcast stuff, and then of course we're gonna do our live stuff. We're gonna try to do at least 1 live a week. So just kind of hit us. Make sure you follow our socials. Be on the lookout for all the stuff on there. Yep. Shout out Remy's headband again. Got to love the show. I wish you would take it off, show everybody how bald he's getting, but he won't. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Nick, once again, shout out to you and shout out hopping in here and giving us some picks.
Appreciate it, fellas. Anytime, guys. Gotta take
man.
that down. Be the first guy to take it down.
We'll see.
Good luck.
We'll see. But that'll be it for me and Breezy and the Hard Pass crew. We will holler at y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.